Taking your pants off.
Yeah.
Hey there, viewers. Welcome back to Ignoring Greg time.
Hi, Nick.
Yeah,
took his pants off.
I believe he would. He's probably
I did. Here's my pants right here.
Anyway, so welcome back to the last episode of Beer Analysis 101 of the year 2020. This year can't be over soon enough.
The best year ever.
And then we'll find that it wasn't the year all along, and the shit.
It was all a dream.
It was all. No, it had nothing to do with the years. Christmas can't be bought in a store, kind of thing. Like COVID can't be contained in a year. Anyway, so tonight's beer is going to be something of a bit of a classic from Muskoka. This is Winterbeard, the double chocolate cranberry stout. Ooh, but first,
so exciting!
Yay! But first tonight,
this is basically 2020 in a nutshell. It even looks like Redbeard.
Kind of does, doesn't it? All right. Actually, I was going to say 113, but still, yeah. So, Greg, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing just fantastic, Nick. Not for any particular reason, just it's an okay day. Why not? We're in the holidays. I'm still working, but not working hard, not working long. No traffic on the roads, so it's all good. Arnold has just farted, and it really stinks. So it's probably going to affect my palate. You're an animal. What's the matter with you?
Alrighty. So, and moving along, Mr. Fuzzy Boy.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, not too bad. Thanks for coming on tonight. And also, how are you doing anyway?
I'm okay.
How you doing?
How you doing? All right. Just chilling. I bought a lot of beer this Christmas, and now I'm going to start drinking it.
Nice. Yeah, you actually have bought quite a bit of beer this Christmas.
I have. Oh, this is a big, heavy bottle.
Yeah, we can talk about all the beers that we bought. You bought in a second, and but first, I'm going to say I've got the beer as well. Although I've got last year's bottle, which coincidentally comes in the exact same box. Gasp!
Does it say anything different on my box than your box?
You know what? I'm kind of curious if the newer version says, like on the side where it's got the spiel about the stout. Does it actually say it's an imperial stout there?
My side is different than your side.
Huh.
Where does it say? It says, what could be more reminiscent of a frigid northern winter than an insulating beard and a warming Muskoka seasonal?
Yeah, mine says that right here. But
Yeah.
What about the other side right here?
Store product upright in a cool area and away from direct sunlight.
So it just has the guide for okay. So they no longer say Imperial Stout on it. That's because they removed that mention of it being an Imperial Stout from their website. Come on, come back and focus here. That was effective. All right, so let's go over to the beer.
Strong beer.
Yeah, right. All right, so. Muskoka, we've already covered Muskoka a couple times on this channel. So we've done the Mad Tom and we did the Harvest Ale earlier this year.
Whoa. So it says our double chocolate cranberry stout is rich with roasted chocolate malt.
Yeah, mine says this Imperial Stout is brewed with dark chocolate. See, that's actually one thing I should have maybe spent the $13 to get a new bottle, but I didn't really want to. Anyway, so we've already covered Muskoka on this channel, so I don't want to have to go into too much detail of it other than to say that Muskoka Cottage Brewery was opened in Bracebridge, Ontario on June 15th, 1996 by Gary McMullen and Kirby Evans, first launching their cream ale, which is still made today. Kirby unfortunately passed away following January from injuries sustained in a car accident. Gary carried on the brewery, and Muskoka's cream ale would win gold at the 1996 Canadian Brewing Awards. Gary was joined by Muskoka cottager and businessman Bob McDonald in 2008, adding some much-needed investment into the brewery and leading to a period of expansion going from 10 employees to 110 by 2016. Opening a new brewery in 2012 to handle the increase in production. Today, Muskoka's beer is available in all provinces except for Quebec. Those people like ghee.
No geese allowed.
Yeah. All right. So other beers from Muskoka include their cream ale, as mentioned, their craft lager, their Mad Tom IPA that we have done on this channel already, the Detour Session IPA, Hazed and Confused, Juicy IPA, Chinook Stout, Legendary Oddity, which was another release that I don't think you get it in boxes anymore. I think it's just canned, but it used to be in boxes like that. And of course, many more seasonals. Winter Beer is an 8% ABV, 14 IBU. Now, their site calls it just a stout. At 8%, that's a pretty heavy stout. This box mentions it's an Imperial Stout. Untapped Beer Advocate Rate Beer call it an Imperial Stout. Actually, Untapped calls it an Imperial / double stout. So I'm kind of thinking this as a double stout because maybe it's not quite Imperial strength, but at 8%, that's pretty weak for an Imperial Stout. But
to me, I always feel like a 8% is kind of the entry point for Imperial. Like it's right, kind of Imperial, but it's really like
it's like barely. When you think about Imperial Stouts, maybe that's kind of like the evolution of the style. Like now, I would rather have an Imperial Stout that's 9 or higher. Anyway, but yeah, I digress. It's a Imperial Stout brewed with Magnum hops, a malt bill consisting of 2 row pale, Crystal 60, Munich, and chocolate malts, along with toasted barley and oat flakes, as well as real cocoa, dark chocolate, and fresh local cranberries. First introduced in 2010 and brewed every year since, it has won a number of awards over the years, including gold at the 2013 and 14 Ontario Brewing Awards and silver at the 2016 Tastings.com World Beer Championships. On a couple of occasions, Muskoka has also in the past released a special barrel-aged edition of this beer called Whiskey Jack, which was aged in Tennessee whiskey barrels.
Yeah, thanks for sending me one of those, Joe.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
There's also Muskoka's also. I don't have this written down, but I know Muskoka has controversially also done a vintage version of this, where they've literally taken like overstock from the previous year, saved it for years, and released it, and charged more. So,
actually, Nick, in fact, there was 1 year, at least 1 year, maybe more than 1 year, where the vintage at the higher price was the only one available at the LCBO. And if you wanted that year's version, you actually had to go up to the brewery in Bracebridge to get it.
Yeah.
So on my box, it actually suggests that you buy 2 and save 1 for later. And we know you want to raid your cellar. Just be patient.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
well,
listen, anything
I got my very own homemade vintage version right here. So this is packaged on September 6th, 2013.
There you go, Nick.
But
it doesn't say when it was packaged. It's actually blank.
Check the neck. See, mine says it right there. But I'm assuming with you got the different packaging, that yours is probably, if yours is the same as Greg's, I'm assuming it's the fresh one.
Well, mine's a 2020, so
I usually would drink in a mug, right? Has my name on it. That's nice. But today, with the bigger beer, I've decided to get a bigger mug.
Oh,
bigger mug.
I think I have that mug. Not my parents' house, but I think I do have that mug.
Big mug. Big mug.
And then do like Nick and butt chug it.
Yeah, right. No, I got the same mug, but I'm not using it tonight. This is actually.
Damn it! I wish I had that mug. I feel so left out.
Mine's a Polliner.
I don't know what brand mine is, but
anyway, I might as well get down to the comments, which are mostly from the Vincent Fournier, aka the Radlar.
Fornicateur.
We can't see anything. Well, you're crazy and not looking in the right spot. Just kidding. Shut up. Last year's, of course. Yes. Yes, of course. Last year.
Nick is a man who enjoys his vintage.
Radal.
Oh, mini radar.
All right, so I'm going to crack mine open, and we might as well just sit here and talk.
Very chocolatey. Very thick. It's thick. It's a little thin.
A little thin.
It is a little thin. Definitely a little thin.
So I never did go over the second phase of these things, which of course is to go back over to Mr. Greg and say, what is your history with this brewery or beer?
Well, I gotta say, Nick, this is a good day because I've never actually untapped this beer. I've only untapped I've actually only ever untapped the 2014. Yeah, you can't even see that. I've only untapped the 2014 vintage. So that means I get to untap the regular and the 2020. This is a 2-tap night, Nick. I'm getting taps out of this beer.
Totally gonna tap that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tap that. So I'm assuming that 2014 is the first time I had it and that sounds probably about right because the first 2 years I had craft beer. I think back then that cost $10, and at that point in my life, of my beer journey, spending $10 on a beer was ludicrous. It's like, spend $10 on a beer. Fucking Molson Canadian's like $3. Like, why would I? It didn't make sense to me. And now I'm stupid and I spend lots of money on beer. But so that was the time I checked in. Oh, and it was checked in on the notorious Night of 1,000 Beers, November 2nd, 2014. So that's
the chances are you've had it before, well before, like one of those previous iterations.
Yeah, maybe it was 2013 vintage, 2014. I don't know. So let's say sometime between 2014, I had it. And I haven't untapped it, I guess, since then. I know I've had it more than that. It's not something I regularly go to. I don't like it that much. Spoilers. But yeah, it's something I've had a few times. It's something I'd love to try the Winter Jack version, but Joe never thought to send me one. I don't even know how the hell Joe got a hold of a bunch of them, and we didn't.
Chad did, pretty sure.
Oh, was it Chad was the source? Yeah, Chad
I think so. I'd have to look up the YouTube reviews on the Whiskey Jack, but
I feel Chad.
I know I've heard of it.
I feel Chad's Arctic adventure is punishment enough for him because
it is purgatory in the north.
Yeah, he is not having a good time there.
No,
yeah.
We won't talk about that here.
I've had it before. It's something I've always found not that exciting. Not that I'd really want to buy again unless Nick makes me. And the other thing is it's one of the lone holdouts because almost everything from Muskoka has now been canned, including the stuff like the Spring Oddity, the Summer Beard, what's the other one? The Harvest Ale. Those all used to be big bottle releases. And now this is the lone holdout where they still bring it out in a box and a bottle and $15 later when they could have just sold it to you for $4, $5 in a can and it would have been just good.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking like if you want to to bottle it in a release that's going to demand such a high price for a special beer. Yeah, this is a nice touch, the box.
Hey, here's a thought. How about putting this in a can and then releasing Winter Jack in a nice bottle like this? Then I'll pay you $20 for the bottle happily. At least buy one.
Yep. All right, I'm going to go over to Mr. Scott who has to follow up Greg. And what's your history with this brewery?
I've had a few when I went to visit Ontario. Nondescript, I don't remember quite some time ago. I do remember that this type of beer was can't remember what it had. It had a unique flavor to it. I think had a very like the water they use is has lots of minerals in it, and you could taste that in the beer sometimes. Mm-hmm. Whether it be to the detriment or to the advantage of the beer. But for this particular winter beer, never had it. I've had double chocolate stouts before. I'm interested in seeing how it is. Sometimes I mix up double chocolate stout with a coffee flavor and don't like it. So we'll see. But sometimes the chocolate shines through and it's lovely. But not a lot of experience with Muskoka, except for the time I went to like Niagara Falls and had a few beers there. So
really?
Not long-winded as Greg.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I know you don't like. Think of it this way: Greg lives in Ontario, has access to all the Muskoka beers he wants, and you don't.
I feel like Scott is the yin to my yang.
There you go.
I'm actually kind of curious. So I'm trying to take a look on my channel, see which ones did we share, because I know I've gotten, on the we've done trio group reviews on Spring Oddity. I think you were there for Spring Oddity. Let me take a look. Yeah, you're your host. So we did Spring Oddity together back when it was still a cork, actually one of those weird bottles that had the kind of like the cork, like Grolsch, like it had the one you flip top, swing top. That's what it is.
Yeah, swing top.
And of course the Harvest Ale back when it was in a corked and caged bottle. We did that over at Sith's place.
Yeah, I do remember that. That spring one was refreshing. I thought.
Was the Heist Almighty there, Nick?
I won't talk about him anyway.
Oh, sorry,
right.
I didn't realize that was he's the Voldemort of your group.
But yeah, he was there. Anyway, let's go back over to me, and I can talk about my history. I mean, I've had a number of Muskoka beers, of course, over the years, as I just mentioned, Spring Oddity and the Harvest Ale. I've had like Mad Tom, twice as Mad Tom, the twice as Mad Tom, Detour, Winter Weiss, Summer Weiss, you name it. I had a number of them over the years, and I have had this specific beer on 2 different occasions. I think somebody, I can't remember who, cracked a bottle of this open on New Year's 2013, like New Year's 2014. And I think somebody brought it to some function that I had it at, because my Untapped in this beer is a picture from some party I went to in May. We were playing D&D over at your place or something in 2017. That was when I had the 2016 bottle of this version of this beer.
Oh.
That's the only time I untapped it. I know I had it once before that, and it was so unremarkable, or thought it was unremarkable at the time, but I didn't drink it. Anyway, moving right along, I might as well skip back here and then read some of the comments. Starting off with Rainy in Your Parade says, "Yo, tough guys, drinking a Goose Island IPA. Hey, a $5.99 a 4-pack, 16-ounce cans. Not doing too bad. That's not terrible. Spent way too much money on beer in 2020. You're telling me.
Yeah.
Trying to spend less. Pieces flying away out of control. Here's the problem with 2020 is that we spent so much time at home doing pretty much nothing but drinking. Because we got all these craft beers and nothing else to do.
As somebody who has not been working from home, and I've been working at the office the entire year, I still have spent way too much money on beer, and I refuse to go back and actually calculate it, because at this point I would just be calculating it based on really warm, expensive coats and how many of those I could have afforded for the amount of beers I bought.
Or how many bikes you could have bought for it?
Well, probably quite a few bikes as well. I mean, that's a thing.
Not wrong.
The thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
I probably could have bought like a cheap automobile for the amount of money I spent on beers this year.
Yeah.
Do you have an automobile?
I do.
Does Greg have an automobile, please?
I do have an automobile.
He could be. Hey man, he could have the ultimate bus pass. I'm just saying.
I mean, I did have a bus pass until March. I did have a bus pass. I took public transit every day, and now I drive.
There's nothing wrong with bus pass. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, more chance of COVID, so
True, that's true, right? Like I did the bus system in Ottawa. That's a beautiful bus system. The Ottawa bus system. They have their own friggin' bus highway.
I will tell you, I do not miss public transit. I think even after COVID, I won't go back to it. It was such a source of frustration in my life, and driving in every day, although it's also a source of frustration, is just so much more pleasant.
Well, especially considering you've got yourself like a $50,000 car, so of course it might be more than that.
Which I rarely drive into work, Nick.
Yeah. I
usually
think
drive my wife's
more than
car
50,000, isn't it?
Well, right now I drive. Well, yeah, her car's pretty nice. I mean, it's a Chevrolet. It's nice.
Well, yeah, Agnes is. What is it? An Equinox or something?
It's an Equinox. It's loaded though. I mean, it's got like every feature on it. So I mean, it's got more than I need. Like it's got all sorts of fun, cool shit on it. But you know, I'm driving a lot now, Nick. I'm driving a lowly Subaru Impreza because.
Oh, you borrowed your dad's car.
Well, long story short, my dad is not well. He is no longer able to drive in his old age, and he has a lease for another 2 years. So I'm putting kilometers on his car, and it's a great little. You know, it's not an exciting car, but it does the job.
No, I do believe all Subarus are all 4-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, it's all-wheel drive. I mean, it's and it makes it for what it is. It makes it a more exciting car to have all-wheel drive because it's like you can accelerate fairly quickly for a little tiny fella.
Anyway,
with a little tiny engine.
Not to change this, it is an interesting subject. We should probably get back to beer for his beer analysis, but
we're talking about beer.
I did also want to get to this. This is the main reason I wanted to make sure that I want to get to this before he goes to bed for the night or something. Craig can't do reviews. It's saying, cheers, guys. Cheers, Craig. Hope you're doing well. And hope you have Merry Christmas.
I don't know what the time difference is, but possibly Happy New Year before we talk to you next. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think he's 4 hours ahead of me, depending upon what the time it is, like time of year it is. I think it's like between 3 and 4 hours, depending upon the time change.
Is it England?
Yeah, Kent, England.
It'd be 4 hours because we're
the east coast of England. I believe
3 hours now because we're daylight savings time.
Yeah, but it depends on what part of. I suppose, but yeah, I mean, like they get daylight savings at a different time than we do. But I'm pretty sure that everybody's time changed by now.
Craig's a good fella. I know he's got lots going on in his life right now, but I hope one day he can join us for some new beer anals.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you do make it back on here at some point there, Craig. Anyway, I've hardly written any tasting notes here because I've been talking. Usually we get Ashley reading the comments.
Yeah, Nick.
Because the other alternative is Greg reading them, and
yeah,
you know how that goes when that happens.
Yeah.
Both of you know I cannot read a word.
Heritage Minutes featuring the Fuzz. I don't know. What is there really to say about winter beer?
I'll give it. It smelled a lot better than it tastes. It's I don't know. It does seem. I kind of joked it was going to be a little light, a little thin, and after a few sips, it's a little thin. Like I'm not overly impressed. And for us, it's a pretty expensive beer, and I'm not like blown away by it. I'm like, it's all right. You taste the chocolate. I don't really taste the cherries. There's supposed to be cranberry. I don't really taste the cranberry in it. This is a $6-7 beer that I paid way too much for. Not impressed. But I mean, you don't really taste the alcohol in it, but I'm sure there's a good 8% in it. Really bold up front, really weak down the back. That's like the taste of it. Doesn't retain any head. Meh. I'd say that's my tasting note. Meh.
Yeah. Well, might as well let you go score first. What do you think for the style? Like, would you give it for a mark for the style? Calling it, well, let's just do it. Let's call it an Imperial Stout.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I'm gonna go at a 5, right?
10.
I'm gonna give it a 6. 6.
Ouch.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Would I pick other stouts over this? Absolutely. Yeah. Let's stick with 6.
Okay.
Overall enjoyment, 5. Middle of the road.
Alrighty. So if overall enjoy it, just 5.
Yeah, 5 out of 10.
Wow.
I've had much worse beer and I've had much better beer. But 5.
Yep. All right, it's fair enough. I mean, you got to take into consideration some of your overall enjoyment comes into how much you paid for the bottle. And I believe we're actually paying less here than they are in Ontario. It's what is it? Right? It's $15 in Ontario, isn't it?
Correct.
It's 13 here.
Wow, you guys get a deal. You know what? Muskoka is notorious for exporting their products and it being cheaper. You would not believe how cheap Muskoka beers are in Michigan.
Wow.
Like they're like you get like on Saturday night, like a place near my brother-in-law's place, like they often have like Smash Bomb Atomic for like $2 a pint.
Yeah. No, it's a meh beer. Like for the amount of money that I paid, like I said, it's an $8 beer and I paid 13. So I'm not too impressed by that. But the taste of it's a beer. It's not too bad. Yeah, you're waving.
Also, no, I just had the camera on me while you were talking. It was just a little weird.
Sure. It's
you could have moved your mouth.
Also, yes, before somebody writes an angry comment, yes, I realize that Smash Bomb is not the name of their IPA. It's Mad Tom, not Smash Bomb. So
Smash Tom.
So before Redbeard wants to go in there and correct me, I corrected myself.
He already corrected you. He already corrected you.
He's doing it himself.
Yeah, I'm doing Redbeard's job for him.
Somebody has to. It's not around.
But yeah, no, it's a serviceable beer. I mean, it's a 5. Like, if someone hands me one of these, I'll drink it. I would put it in a glass. I wouldn't drink out of the bottle. That bottle's really big. But baller.
Fine. Yeah.
Was it you, Greg, that was saying that this is going to be kind of a crapshoot? Like it wasn't going to be. You said leave it out for a couple hours before you drank it.
I don't think that was me that said that.
Or was it you were? Someone said it. Someone was.
Was it on one of our golf streams? You know that Greg never comes on those.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm generally not on the gaming streams. I mean, I do agree that I think this beer is probably you benefit from warming it up a little bit because the flavors such as cranberry are pretty subtle and you don't pick them up when it's too cold.
Yeah. Even though it says on the box to keep it cold.
There's some mixed messaging there. They also want you to buy 2 of them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And put one away for later.
Hey, Fuzz, I got a great car I can sell you, but if you buy 2.
All right. Anyway, did you give your scores yet, Greg?
No, I haven't even done my review yet.
All right, we'll do your review then.
There we go. And I'm basically gonna because I don't have Ashley Sexton tonight. I'm basically gonna follow the Fuzz, and I'm gonna agree with most of what he says.
In a copy, Scott.
Yeah, basically, it's a very meh beer. Like it's, and I've always felt like this even back when I was fairly. I'm not gonna say I was a craft beer virgin, but I was very inexperienced in my craft beer journey and still experimenting with different things and different, positions in the beer hierarchy, you might say. And yeah, I've always felt this way is that, it's a double chocolate cranberry stout. It sounds good. It sounds like it should be like a Black Forest cake. And you really get none of these kind of flavors. It's thin. You do get the subtle flavors. You get the chocolate, you get the cranberry. Like, part of me almost thinks it's almost a good beer to introduce someone to a stout to. But then again, like you may as well just introduce them to a really good stout. And then if they find it too bitter or something, get them more acclimatized to it, if I'm pronouncing that word correctly.
100% agree, Greg. 100%.
It's calling it an Imperial Stout. Now, to be fair, I don't see Imperial Stout anywhere on this bottle. I see it as a strong beer. So I'm going to rate it based on not being an Imperial Stout. I'm going to base my own rating is going to be based on it being a regular stout because I don't see them advertising it as such. So that's just how I'm going to go with it. Because if it was I'm going to tell you right now, if this was for style, if this was an Imperial Stout, it would be a 3. It's a garbage Imperial Stout. As a stout, which is a style, I don't like regular stouts. I want my stouts all Imperial. I want them thick. I want them oily. I basically, I'm with Paul on this. one of the few things Paul and I agree on. Yeah, this is a terrible Imperial Stout. But since they don't actually say, I see nowhere on the bottle that it says it's an Imperial Stout. So I'm going to rate it as a regular stout. And for me, as a regular stout, I'm going to go 7 on it. I feel I'm being a little generous, but I feel, you know what? It's very smooth. It's not thick, but I wouldn't say it's thin either. It's kind of a medium body. It's got some interesting flavor to it. It's not overly bitter, which a lot of people might find offensive. So again, I do think it could be potentially a good beginner stout for someone. And once it warms up, you do get a little bit of that cranberry. So it is, I'm going to say it's slightly complex, but that's really the most exciting thing I can say about it. I mean, as a beer that I personally like, I'm struggling to really go much. Like, I think I'm going to go slightly higher than Scott on this, but not much. Like, I'm going to say it's like a 5.5. Like, it's really not something, and I'm not taking price into account. If I took price into account, I'd probably give it again a 3, but I'm not going to do that. I'll just say it's, as a beer, it's a 5.5 for me. It's passable. It's slightly better than passable, but it's like if I'm at a place and you tell me this is the only beer around, I will drink it and I won't complain. Like, it's nothing bad, but it's just like, do you have anything else that I can have that I'd probably rather have over this? Like, even something like Black Oak. Now, I'm not sure about the ABV on it, but I think it's less than this. I think it's a 7.75. It's called their Double Nutcracker Porter or whatever. I'm not even sure if they released it this year, but it's around the same alcohol as this. It's not an Imperial Stout, but it's a lot more interesting. It's got a lot more winter spices and cranberry-ish flavor. And in fact, they even have a cherry chocolate stout, so it's a little different. That tastes better than this too. And again, it's not that high. I think it's 7% alcohol, but it's stronger in terms of flavor in this. So I mean, this is really, I almost wonder who this is for. Like, it's one of those things, like, I don't think a real craft beer drinker would like it. I'm not totally sure somebody who's trying to get into craft beer would like it all that much too. I'm sort of assuming most of their business comes from the fact that this is a nice gift box. You can give this to your, hey, I know a guy who likes beer. I'm going to get this because it comes in a beautiful gift box. This is a nice box.
You know what? And somebody gave me that for Christmas, I wouldn't be offended either. I'd be like, oh, thank you.
That's kind of where I think the market for this thing is, and I think that's the reason why this doesn't come in a can, is because I think they sell it as a Christmas item. Where, like a lady at my work, she got me a case, a gift pack of Bose. Would I have ever bought that myself? No, but she looked at it. She's like, I know Greg likes craft beer. Here, I'm going to buy him this Bose thing, and they made a sale. How many thousands of sales do they make based on that? And I think that's the exact market that this hits, is that you sell it to somebody who wants to give a craft beer guy like me a gift, and I get it. I'm like, oh, this is great, and I don't hate it. It's not terrible, but it's
and for in New Brunswick, it hits that $15, not quite a friend, but acquaintance, like a $15 Secret Santa kind of thing.
Well, exactly. Like, you're not at the point. It's like, hey, I like Nick. He's a good guy. I'm not going to buy him a $60 bottle of bourbon or a $100 bottle of scotch, but he's worth a $15 bottle of beer.
Thanks, Greg. Yeah, but you've got access to much better $15 bottles of beer. Like, spend the extra $3, send me a double Tempest.
We know that. We know that. But
we know that.
The regular guy or girl.
That's because me and Greg are more than just friends. No.
Whoa. More than just friends, but we don't talk about that on online chats. But what I am going to make.
What happens in Etobicoke stays in Etobicoke.
Wow. What happens at the camera show, right? Okay. But the thing I am going to say, though, is that yes, I do have access to better expensive bottles, but stuff like Double Tempest, Bring Out Your Dead, it's not a shelf turn. Like, you buy it when it comes out, or after a day or so, you don't buy it anymore because it's.
Well, yeah, we got to take in consideration like why Redbeard and why Ashley couldn't be here tonight. They couldn't get it because it's sold out within the last week.
I don't actually think this sold out, Nick. LCBO has a thing where anything that's considered to be a Christmas promotional item, so it's like the Christmas gift packs. I suspect this is the same thing.
Yeah.
They pull it off shelves. After Christmas, they pull it off shelves. They send it back to the manufacturer.
Really?
So any of these that aren't sold will be sent back to Muskoka for Muskoka to do whatever they want with.
So they'll either sell them at the brewery or they're going to change the box out and sell it as a vintage version next year for $23.
You're probably 100% right. That's exactly what they're going to do. That's a thing I learned from speaking to an LCBO manager a few years ago, where basically if you want a Christmas pack, don't wait for them after the holidays, because they pull them off shelves and send them right back to the manufacturer. Yeah. Or they will. I have heard of some LCBO managers will drastically discount them to get them out of the store. I've actually heard of them actually literally giving them to their own employees. Now, I don't know if that's true, or not, but apparently after Christmas, they do not want Christmas stuff on the shelf. They want it gone because they want the shelf space. Apparently LCBO shelf space is insanely expensive, so they don't want to spend any extra money on it. So yeah, basically
that's a weird practice to have. I mean, right here they've got the winter beards. Well, I'll get that into my spiel, but they still have this stuff on the shelf, and I assume that they will until like well into the spring. Well,
see, they're they on the box they say, "Hey, buy 2 and put it in your cellar. Wait until later." But they're actually doing that exact same thing for you, and then charging you a premium later down the road. And
what are they going to do? I mean, maybe that's why they can say, like, "Oh, you just take it out of the box, throw away the box, use it for next year's version or something like that," and then brand the boxes as the new bottle says vintage.
You know what would do well? If you actually set fire to this thing, it would start a nice little fire for you.
Yeah,
well, that's probably what I'm going to do with mine. Anyway,
but this beer is actually I'm halfway through it, and it's hit me pretty hard. Like, it's 8%. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's 8%. I'm not going to argue with that.
Go ahead, Nick. Talk.
All right. So I got a digital guest here tonight.
Ooh, who is
it? You're on me, Nick.
Fuck.
You're on me.
Okay. All right. So let me take it off of you. Why did it not let me share the screen?
I mean, the Fuzz is a very handsome man. There's nothing wrong with looking at him a little bit.
Okay. I'm gonna change screens here.
Oh
wow. That was weird. Like, I've never seen StreamYard do that before. I went to go share the screen. All of a sudden, it's like, you can't share this screen. Try a different screen. See if this continues.
Nick, if it's a problem, just put in a ticket and some IT fellow will fix it for you.
Okay. What the fuck? All right, hold on a second.
Oh, bye.
Well, this is awkward. So you've been enjoying. He's back. Okay.
Yeah. No, I just refreshed my browser window. I want to see if this continues. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so I'm going to share the screen this time with audio. And that's the problem.
It's the audio.
Fuck. All right. Well, they were having technical difficulties displaying Jamie's comical take on
Nick. In the interest of time, I'm sure you're a smart fella. You can probably figure it out. In the interest of time, could you not just bring it up on your cell phone and just put it up to the screen?
You know what? I'll do one better. I'll grab my tablet.
There we go. Even better.
So now he walks away from his desk. Now he leaves us virtually to fill in the channel.
So has anyone else really enjoyed rubbing their nipples throughout 2020? Because I know I have. I mean,
I'm not a nipple guy. I'm not a nipple guy.
But I mean, has anyone, like the Albino Rhino Beer Fest? It's a great beer fest. It didn't go this year. I don't know.
You know what? If Albino Rhino had a T-shirt that had places for nipples, like nipples go here, that'd be pretty good.
I mean, I could cut holes right here, and it would show my nipples. Yeah. That'd be kind of fun.
Let's just say that if that happens, the first nipples you would see would not only be Greg's. Because I'm sure Chad's probably shown his nipples many times on the show.
Oh, Chad's shown his nipples many. I'm going to say that fest takes place in Niagara. You'd see quite a few female nipples.
Oh, you got.
Because those ladies don't hold back.
All right, I'm going to go do this the old-fashioned way and do the digital representation of Jamie.
There we go.
Which, unfortunately, has to be on a really tiny screen because I'm having all sorts of technical difficulties here because of the type of video that Jamie uploaded from his, I'm assuming, cell phone.
Nick, put in a ticket. You'll be fine.
Well, hey guys, thanks for having me, Nick. Just doing the double chocolate cranberry stout, winter beard from Muskoka Brewery. Let's try this out. This box.
Just janks it on the floor. Jeff.
Looks pretty good. Let's give it a smell. It smells like chocolate and cranberry.
You drink straight from the bottle.
Right from the bottle.
Tastes like chocolate and cranberry. I give it a, I don't know. This is 8 right there. Yeah, I'll give it that. 8 out of 10 for chocolate cranberry beer and for how I like it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Wow, with chug. $15 beer.
Double chocolate cranberry stout from Muskoka.
Well, at least it's not like drinking a double Tempest right from the bottle. Anyway.
Yeah. Nick, you know what? I'll just say, back in my early craft beer journey, I was looking for a lot of video reviews of beer, and not that much existed, especially Canadian beer.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was looking for a review of, I think it was Muskoka beer. I think it was their lager or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I found some dude online who just goes, yeah, I'm going to review this beer. And chugs 2 of them. And he's like,
It's good beer.
I'm just like, that's not a review. That doesn't help me at all. Good work, Jamie. You win. 10 out of 10 for your review.
All right.
Are you reviewing his review?
All right, so let's get down to my my more. We got somebody that has to fill in for Ashley Sexton while he's not around. So I'm going to say, well, here's my tasting notes. I'm going to get a decent amount of chocolate. It's a bit metallic, touch tannic. Comes the cranberry starts to come out tiny little bit when it warms, but it's almost not enough there to even call it cranberry at that point. The finish is lingering chocolate, espresso coffee, and a bit of licorice. It's got a medium to full body, but it almost is reminiscent of a good oatmeal stout. It's a bit soft in its body, but overall, I'm getting like I mean, at the same time, I feel like I'm drinking 5% or 6% beer. I don't feel like I'm drinking an 8%. But at the same time, this is a fucking. You're calling this an imperial stout? Maybe that's why they changed it till it's just a stout now. It's too thin for an imperial. The cranberry is almost undetectable. It's decently chocolatey, but the double chocolate that they advertise on here, I don't get that much chocolate from it. I mean, I am getting chocolate, of course, but I'm not getting oodles of chocolate. This is no chocolate manifesto. It's just not powerfully chocolatey like it's implying. And overall, really, for the price that you pay, normal price that you pay for this, it's like that's a little bit much. I mean, I'd rather see them just screw the boxes next year, just put it in cans, call it a regular stout or a double stout, like call it something other than an imperial.
I put an $8 tab on it.
Yeah, like an $8 can of it, and then just sell it as a can. But you know what? Chances are the box is the main reason of the draw towards this. Maybe for the Christmas present aspect. You won't be selling these for Christmas presents if you put them in cans.
No, I mean a tall can, not a shorty, but
yeah. Well, I mean, maybe sell a limited amount of the boxes. Sell all those last year's batch of boxes as a vintage edition, and then sell the new one as a can. I don't know. I just feel like it is a bit pricey. Now, my specific box, I'm not super upset over this one because I got this one on clearance in the spring for I think $8, which is not bad, really. I would say that was a good deal for this beer. $8.
It's an $8 beer. No, for sure.
$8 or $9 or something.
Sure.
I gladly paid $8 for this.
Yes.
But I wouldn't I would not. And this kind of been why I've been thinking. Like I kind of wanted to pick up a 2020 bottle of this for tonight. Excuse me, that was an awkward burp. But I didn't really want to spend $13 or 15 in Ontario to have a second bottle of this when this is going to tell me everything I already need to know? Like, okay, I don't get the point. I mean, I don't really want to spend the money, and I'm glad I didn't, because I mean, it's a good beer. There's nothing about this that really is super offensive other than the price. It is actually, if you call this like a double chocolate oatmeal stout and call it a regular stout, or if you called it even something weird like a double stout, call it a double stout, because it's like make up some kind of definition for a stout that's in between a regular or an extra stout and an imperial, because this it's definitely not imperial. But it is maybe a little bit heavier than a regular stout because it's 8%. But just make something up, call it a double stout, and then you got your perfect own little style for something like this. But at the same time, there's no way something like that is even worth $15 a bottle. But overall, if you were to rate this on the style of Imperial Stout, I'm going to give it a 6.5. I mean, I've had way better Imperial Stouts, and that goes without saying around here. We've reviewed way better Imperial Stouts on Beer Analysis 101 before.
I've had better Imperial Stouts.
Yeah, you actually got a even better Imperial Stout sitting in your fridge right now. That vanishing point from Guinness and Gun that you showed me. That's actually really nice, considering Guinness and Gun's kind of. Anyway, we won't go into that. Overall, though, my overall enjoyment, I'm going to give it a 7 because 3.5 out of 5 is probably where I would put this. It's good, decent beer. Get some things wrong, obviously, but I enjoy it. But I wouldn't enjoy it if I had to pay $13 for this.
I had to pay $13 for it.
Or how about $15, Nick?
$15? Well, I mean, I can see where you guys would be upset.
I'm not upset. It's not a bad beer. It's a meh beer.
It's not about that. It's not about the money. It's the principle.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
you know what, Nick? When it comes to making you happy, there is nothing that will stop me. I mean, literally, I bought a $3,000 bike to make you happy.
You can buy that for me.
Yes, Nick, I bought it for you, and now it's sitting in my room, and I'm not doing anything with it just to make you happy.
So about 25 minutes ago when we asked him, Craig was saying that it was 145 there, so it's like 210 there now.
Cheers, Craig.
Cheers, Craig.
Nick, I'll do anything.
It's 10 here right now.
But I would certainly not want. I would not. The next time I buy this beer will be the next time Nick is like, "Hey guys, let's do a beer reanalysis on Muskoka chocolate cranberry winter beer."
Well, I wouldn't rule out a reanalysis of some things. I'm not doing this one again.
You never know, Nick. In 20 years, we might be bored.
20 years.
I feel like
next level might give out.
At some point, we're going to run out of beer, I feel. But so rating on your parade says it's 8:46 there in Maine, which should be like 9. He's an hour behind me, and I believe he's Portland, Maine. Rating on your parade says PM. Obviously, yeah, we knew that. Cool. Craig says cool. Yeah, 5 hours difference with East Coast. Our time goes forward at the end of March, and yeah, ours goes forward, I think, mid-March. And of course, the great question he says is, what's next week's radar? Craig is actually from the future, and then here
you fucked it up.
Thanks for messing up my comments.
God damn it, radar.
Oh yeah. Rating on your parade says, what's next week's beer? So he did add some magic questions, so we have that registered system. So ding, 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 ding. I will get to that in a second. Grox2448 says, I've had this beer every year since it came out. Always enjoy it. Haven't seen it this year, though. And I'm willing to bet that it's going to be hard to find this year unless you're not in Ontario, where they apparently take these Christmas beers off the shelf for some reason at the end of the month.
Well, we got it here.
Yeah, we got it here. It's readily available in St. John area, New Brunswick. And then Jeff. All right.
Not everyone has St. John's money.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here to show our ratings. And yeah, honestly, kind of low. Like Jamie pumped it up slightly, but we weren't having the best time with this beer.
I mean, I almost feel like if you just kind of reddened up that beard a little bit, it'd be kind of like if we just rated red beard, it'd be kind of like, hey, he's not a bad guy. He's just not that great.
I feel like it's a decent stout. I just don't think it's a good imperial. It is nowhere near an imperial.
That really.
And then I noticed their website is, and the new packaging is distancing itself from the imperial moniker.
And you know what? That's a smart thing to do because, again, if you're rating this as an imperial stout, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
It's a reasonably good regular stout based on the taste, regardless of the ABV. It doesn't have nearly the body or the nice punch you in the face taste of a good imperial stout.
Yeah, not even like Amsterdam's Tempest or something. It's like the base Tempest or Nickelbrook's Bolshevik Bastard. Both way better imperial stouts than this.
Like basically calling this imperial stout is like saying you got a lap dance and now you got laid. They're not.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the competition for this thing, like in the biggest competition I would consider for this, like what they're calling it, would be like Chocolate Manifesto from Flying Monkeys, and that's fantastic.
And that's
and even a beer,
10%, I believe, and like infinitely better than this.
Yeah. I think I've had that.
That is a true imperial stout, both in taste and body, and it's also an amazing flavored beer because it promises a lot and it gives you that promise. It says, "Do you want just chocolate in every orifice of your body?" That is what
pretty much, and it'll just basically a little force fist you with that fucking chocolate for days, basically.
Yeah, and I'm not somebody who's particularly a big chocolate person, but. You know, they say that some women prefer chocolate to orgasms because chocolate actually gives them more satisfaction. You'd be chocolate orgasming from that beer. It is absolutely incredible. And yeah, I think it's one of the highest rated beers we've done on Beer Analysis. And I mean, granted, we've had some really good beers on Beer Analysis, but for what that beer claims to be, it is almost absolutely perfect for what it is. And this is just meh. This is meh.
You're right. It's meh. I said meh at the beginning. I say meh at the end.
Listen, I normally copy Ashley Sexton, and I don't have Ashley Sexton tonight, so I'm copying you, and I agree with everything I'm copying from you.
Yeah.
It's almost
like you're validating my thoughts, and, making me part of the group.
In my mind, man.
You're part of the tribe now.
Oh
God!
When Greg copies my thoughts.
Great. Yeah, you're fucked now, Scott.
Oh, you don't want to be part of the Greg Cocky tribe.
No, you're going to be visiting sex clubs in no time.
Yeah,
I already visit sex clubs back in my wrestling days.
I'm actually very curious if there are any in New Brunswick.
Yeah, I don't think. I think maybe your definition of sex club is different.
Yes, it is.
All right. So next week's beer, we might as well introduce it because it's already been asked. We're going to do Great Lakes Brewing's. Speaking of sex clubs, Thrust, and IPA.
Yeah. I love to thrust things into Nick.
Yeah, we like Thrust, and this is Thrust from Etobicoke. So
thrusted in Etobicoke.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's literally where GLB is from. Like Greg can walk to the brewery.
I need to make sure I still have one and haven't drank mine. But if not, I'm sure I can get another one.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get another one. You said this was, and that was part of the plan that this was regularly available in the LCBO.
Yeah, no, it is. It was a big release. I'm pretty sure I still have mine. I don't think I've drank it. I just have to look in the back of my fridge.
Look in the back of the Magic fridge. I know mine was canned the end of October, like October 22nd. So it'll be just a hair over 2 months old when we review this next year, because this is the last BA 101 of the year. And
geez, Nick, if I'd known the Fuzz was your friend, I would have sent him one, but you didn't tell me, so.
All right, no problem.
Yeah. All right, so good luck goes out to all the BA 101 reviewers in the New Year's. Cheers. Raining on your parade. Thank you very much. And you know what? That's actually a good note to sign out tonight. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank Raining on your parade. I want to thank Radar. I thank Rocks. Especially a big thanks to Kent for showing up tonight. Hope you're doing okay, Craig. Who else was here in the chat? I think that was it. And especially
I'm going to say thank you for everyone who made it through 2020. I'm sorry for anyone that lost anyone in 2020. It's a shitty year. It's a shitty fucking year. let's hope next year is better. Also, roll up your sleeve and get the vaccine when it's available. Don't be stupid about it. Get your fucking vaccine. Cheers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, cheers, especially to you, Scott. I know you lost someone close to you today this year.
Oh,
Yeah. What happens?
I did not know that, Scott. I'm sorry, and cheers to you. Or
Yeah,
cheers to you, and cheers to whoever your loved one is that you lost.
thank you. My father passed away in February.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's a good man, Scott.
He was.
All right. Yeah. So I think that's enough, and we'll better take this offline. I'll talk
right.
to you guys later. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy 2020.